They have been drilling this period with this predictive, okay, and with this prediction that, first of all, it's not even scientific. Based on what? I mean, based on what? Based on what they are saying, well, we are going to have a second wave coming very soon, and it's going to be around October, November, and it's going to be far worse and far deadlier. And if you watch the interviews by the so-called experts, by the mainstream media, you don't see or hear any interviewer grilling the interviewees in terms of how are you arriving, how scientific is this, how definitive is this. In fact, if you were to attach a statistical chance, where would that statistics even come? In my humble opinion, this is not the time to leave. First, there is no better place, trust me, in the long run. And by the long run, I don't mean decade. I'm talking about from now till the next 1 or 2 years. And we have a duty, you know. That is being a real nationalist. You don't desert. During the time when your nation needs you, needs people who are vocal, needs people who are strong in their faith to their constitution, those people who are truly Americans. And it says to really, my duty as an American is to defend my constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And there are tens of millions of people who believe that. Now, are they taking action? Many of them, not yet. I'm hoping that we will. That's the part that has been bugging me. But no, it's not time to desert. It's not time, and there is no other place, in my humble opinion. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about COVID, elections, becoming an expat, and how they actually are now connecting, which is pretty interesting. When you look at the latest news, Hong Kong has delayed their elections due to COVID. Then New Zealand did the same thing. They delayed their elections. In fact, there was an article on Financial Times talking about 6 other nations lately doing the same thing. And that is not getting enough attention on the media. What does it really mean? Why the numbers of these countries are steadily but quietly increasing on delayed elections? Now, in addition to all this, I just saw another statistic saying that we have had record number of Americans becoming expats and giving up their US citizenship. I'm going to talk about that as well, because I really wonder where in the world they're going. Yes, there are a few countries listed, but I want to talk about, is that the answer? Is that the fix? Is that the solution? And I'm going to talk about also the pros and cons of expat life as someone who has lived in several countries, both during my childhood, but also in my adulthood as an expat in several countries. And I want to talk about some of the main themes about leading an expat life and the pros and cons. And then again, bring all these back together and link it to this COVID-19 shenanigan, now passing its 6 months and more. The full episode is currently available at Newsbud, but also via Patreon, my new community. It takes only a few seconds if you're interested in these topics: geopolitics, domestic politics here in the United States, expat life, travel, and so many other topics that end up actually getting themselves intertwined with all the things we have been talking about here, politics and geopolitics. Just takes a few seconds. You can go ahead and contribute whatever you can and join my Patreon community, or you can join my Newsbud website. It has been around for many, many years. It used to be Boiling Frogs Post, and that started in 2009, but since 2016 we kind of expanded it to become Newsbud. And when you go there, you will also have access to thousands of video reports, exclusive articles and analysis, and podcast episodes, and I mean that, thousands of them, that I have compiled in the past 11 years over there. So you will have access to all those archived materials. Thank you all. Now let's begin talking about everything COVID and becoming an expat or not.